Welcome to the Fishbowl Radio, everybody. My name is Chief here, and joining me today is Juicy for our LSU versus Arkansas preview of 2023. We're going to be also picking the top 25 college football team matchups for this week, which we got a slew of games to get to. So let's jump right down into it. Hey, Juicy, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. How y'all doing?
I'm doing pretty good as well here. So, any reaction from LSU versus Mississippi State? We had uh two co-offensive SEC players of the week, which was Malik Neighbors and Jaden Daniels. So, what you got about that? Well, like a reaction? I don't know what I'm even saying. Reaction wise,
I was overly impressed. I know it was just supposed to be just Mississippi State, but I mean, a lot of people thought that game was going to be closer. It could even be like a an upset for LSU or a trap game or whatever. But LSU definitely took care of business. They, even though it wasn't the same level competition Florida State, they looked a lot better, and the offense just seemed to flow a lot smoother. But they dominated on both sides of the ball, offense and especially on defense. I don't even they gave up almost at halftime before that run if a running back broke out the big run. They only had 7 total yards of offense, Mississippi State. So I mean, LSU looked good on every aspect of the game.
yeah. I mean, if you look at like everything that's happened with that game with LSU and Mississippi State, they seem like they really gel well together. Jaden Daniels looked like he was really comfortable out there throwing the ball over the field there in that game, well to pick apart Mississippi State's defense. But I think LSU's defense played very well throughout the majority of the game themselves here, really limiting Mississippi State's options that they can do it on offense here. But I think overall, if I'm looking throughout the rest of the SEC, I do see it not being the same SEC that we've seen through the last several years of their dominance here. I don't know if it's the transfer portal having an impact on that or NIL or what's going on there.
Alabama looks
But
Alabama doesn't Alabama looks like a mere shot looked like a mere shadow of it.
I mean, they struggle on the
So
road and against, I think it was USF, right?
it was little South Florida.
And South Florida only won one game last year. Georgia didn't look that good this past weekend either. So I don't really know if I got much confidence in those teams heading forward. You got Tennessee losing to Florida. And so, I mean, look, I think the transfer portal might be bringing more parity to the sport itself here, like we've been talking about here. We mentioned this. You can go look back at our episodes in 2021. We were talking about this kind of thing potentially happening, and it looks like it's coming to fruition at this moment in time. So, but that's enough about that situation here. Let's get down to this LSU versus Arkansas matchup here. So, literally, um, it's a battle of 2-1 teams. This gonna be a Baton Rouge. It's gonna be rocking as LSU takes on Arkansas in Week 4 action on Saturday. LSU has rebounded since its season opening loss to Florida State. They've had two impressive wins: a 72-10 win against Grambling and a 41-14, which made a big statement on the road against Mississippi State here. Arkansas themselves, they're 7 points away from being undefeated themselves. They came off a close loss at home to BYU, and they're still holding out hope that that tailback Raheem Sanders is able to come back soon. In the meantime, they post 370 total yards per game behind quarterback KJ Jefferson. He's a 71% passer with 7 all-purpose touchdowns throughout the year. So, Juicy, what does the odds say coming into this game here?
Well, the odds have LSU 88 point. They're giving it. I mean, they're giving LSU an 88.5% chance to win it. That's based off of this little thing that simulates these games 20,000 times, and it comes out to LSU winning 88.5% of those 20,000 simulations or whatever. But I see the point spread. Oh, LSU opened up to 17, but now it's they up to 18.5 point favorites now. So, uh, uh, I mean, Tiger State is a tough place to play, and Arkansas is somebody to take lightly because I mean LSU and Arkansas have had some crazy games over the years, and Arkansas's had some upsets of LSU when LSU was clearly a better team, and Arkansas's pulled off some wins. So I mean, none of these Arkansas games are ever to take lightly, no matter how bad or no matter what the record is. But paper wise and logical wise, you would think LSU should be able to win this game relatively easy. But as we all know, anything can happen with this.
I know some fans were kind of overreacting to this a little bit here with Harold Perkins, this kind of being more of a like zone linebacker in the first game of the season. Then they kind of rebound and they were like, wait a second, let's put more pressure on the quarterback against Mississippi State. So they kind of let him do that more on Saturday, which I think helped prove dividends for LSU going forward here. I do think they will have it's gonna be good for him to be an all-around player, but if it's being detrimental to the team, if you're not getting a pass rush out there, then I mean you gotta use your team strengths and try to overcome those weaknesses if you're not able to get pressure, which LSU's defensively, that defensive line looking really good, putting pressure on the quarterback here. So it's gonna be interesting here. LSU, I mean, they've had some great moments in this rivalry with Arkansas here. A double overtime loss to Arkansas in 2007 when LSU which ended up playing for a national championship. Which, if looking back on it now, you were probably thinking LSU just lost their chance at a national championship that year. Which 2007 college football season was a crazy college football season to begin with, anyway. And there's years that LSU just walked all over Arkansas State. I remember them one year beating them like 55 to like 3 or something. But when's all this gonna kick down? It's gonna go happen in Baton Rouge at 6 o'clock Central Time on the ESPN network. So, Juicy, who are you taking in this ball game?
Well, I know Arkansas is going to be looking to improve from their loss to BYU, and KJ Jefferson's got I think this fourth year starting for sure. It's his third year starting, but he's definitely been around this rivalry enough. But I just think that LSU's a train that started off slow coming out, but now they're just a freight train that's just rolling right now. So I think LSU's gonna continue their winning ways for this week as well. And I don't. They shouldn't have too much problem with Arkansas, but like I said, you never know. But regardless, I think they're gonna win. I'm not gonna bother to predict by how much or whatever. But because last year the game was close and LSU was definitely the better team.
Yeah, it was a cold game last year. This is where Harold Perkins really made a name for himself, being the only person on the Harold Perkins versus Arkansas's offense was basically the name of the game last year. So Arkansas obviously is going to game plan against Harold Perkins on defense. There's no way to get around it here. Will he be as successful this year? Only time will tell on Saturday. But I do believe LSU is going to win this game. Is Jaden Daniels in that offense this year going to step up compared to what they were last year? I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out once we get to that point there. But I do believe that Arkansas, they're a good team, right? They've had a close loss of 2-1 this year, so trying to stay above 500 both these teams here. So we'll see what happens here. But I think LSU does get the win in Death Valley because Arkansas's got to go on the road. They got to handle that hostile environment. Communication is going to be a key in that game against LSU. I just don't think Arkansas is going to be able to get the job done in Baton Rouge on Saturday. I got LSU beating Arkansas 35-17 in Baton Rouge. I kind of agree with what Vegas has there. So, I mean, like 18 points. I think it's a fair assessment as of what we saw with both these teams throughout this college football season so far.
I was gonna say like 42 to. I was gonna say like 42 to 24, 28 was gonna be like a final score.
And it's kind of almost the same a little bit, but like we're both about the 18-point range, it seems like. So we're kind of agreeing with Vegas, it seems like. Now, granted, if I was betting, I probably would take Arkansas if I was a betting man. So yeah, if y'all doing any parlays or anything, I'm not really too big into gambling and stuff, but if I was, I probably would take the points with Arkansas just in case LSU's offense does come out sluggish, which I don't think they will. I think they'll gel very well because they put up two very impressive offensive performances between Mississippi State and Grambling. Now, granted, talent difference between both those teams is a big deal, but a big difference there. But I think LSU gets the job done on Saturday. So, without further ado, let's get down to this top 25 college football games, picking them here on the Fishbowl Radio here. Number one, Georgia versus UAB. UAB coming off a loss to the Louisiana Raging Cajuns there, 7:30 on ESPN2, which is actually that's Eastern time. It's 6:30 Central time. Juicy, who you got winning that game there?
I have I have LSU winning that game. I know Georgia started off uh, uh, rough against South Carolina and didn't play too well, especially not in the first half. But I just think they'll have a what I call a rebound week, and I don't think they should have a problem with UAB. Give me the Bulldogs in this game.
Georgia's one of those that it's like, okay, I don't think, I think they're a little bit down this year, which they did lose a lot between the last 2 years of the NFL draft. So there was going to be some drop off somewhere, regardless if the transfer portal's a thing or not. But I do think Georgia does get the job done against UAB. Number two, Michigan versus Rutgers. Do you see who you got in that game?
Give me the Wolverines.
You going Wolverines? Going Wolverines
I,
myself as well. All right, number three, Texas at Baylor. So Texas played a sneaky good Wyoming team. So Wyoming's a lot better than a lot of people give them credit for this year. But I'm going with Texas in that game. Juicy, you gonna follow me or what?
yeah, I'm gonna go with Texas as well.
All right. Number four, Florida State at Clemson here. Clemson has not looked that good this year. Florida State looks like a national championship caliber team this year, if I do say so myself here. Boston College did
They
give
have
them a
to
run
against
for their
Boston College.
yeah, Boston College did give them a run for their money this past Saturday, but they might have been looking forward to Clemson. Kind of a definition of a trap game, I would say, last week, but I think the Seminoles roll. Who you got, Juicy?
Yeah, give me the Seminoles as well. I haven't been too impressed with Clemson. I just think Florida State might have got caught looking ahead a little bit, but this time I think they're gonna be much better than how they performed against Boston College.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen, right, with Clemson, which is a crazy thing, but it's college
Like
football.
Alabama on that same track too.
Yeah, it seems like it. We'll talk more about them later. But number five, USC at Arizona State here. The one thing that bothers me about USC this year is their defense. I don't think they really like it's a just a basic setup for a the head coach. I can't think of his name. I know it. I've said it many times on this show. Lincoln Riley. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
His he doesn't really have a defense wherever he goes so far. So
Because the Big 12 that doesn't really have a
yeah, the Big
defense
12's usually
anyway.
got pretty good big offenses and but the Pac-12's look pretty good so far this year. We'll have to see if they can keep it up
Their
here throughout the
last
season.
year's their last year is a conference, so
Yeah, their last year as a conference. They're man, it's gonna be an interesting next year for sure in college football. But I got USC beating Arizona State. Who you got, Juicy?
I have USC as well.
Number six, Ohio State at number nine, Notre Dame. 6:30 kickoff on NBC. This one's
College game
intriguing
day
too.
is gonna be
So it's like, okay, is Notre Dame I haven't been really impressed with Ohio State this year. They've been kind of one of those that's like they'll be, they show flashes, right? They show flashes they're gonna be good this year, and then there's other times you're just like wondering what's up with this football team. So, this one's kind of a tough one. I think Notre Dame they definitely have a shot. They're gonna be definitely at home. They're gonna. I'm kind of leaning back and forth with them. This one's kind of a toss up to me. but I think it could swing either 10 points one way or 10 points the other way. I think somebody's winning by 10 points, whoever wins this game, but um, I'm gonna go with the Buckeyes because I think they got more talent than Notre Dame. Who you got, Juicy?
I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm gonna think Notre Dame playing home. I think Ohio State not looking quite as good. Sam Hartman looks pretty good. I'm gonna go with the Irish on this. I think they'll sneak it out.
Don't blame me for it either, man. I've been going back and forth with that one. So probably if you ask me tomorrow who to pick in this game, I probably would pick Notre Dame, but we'll see what happens. It's gonna be a good one though, for sure. Number 7, Penn State versus number 24, Iowa. I got Penn State winning this one. Who you got, Juicy?
I have Penn State, even though I will say Penn State's like Ohio State. They haven't looked overly impressive this year, but I'm gonna stick with Penn State.
Number 8, Washington versus Cal. Give me Washington Huskies. Who you got, Juicy?
Washington looked really good this year. I'm gonna go with the Huskies.
Number 10, Oregon versus number 19, Colorado. Man, I want Colorado to win this game. With Darnell Hunter going out with his injury that he did. He's probably the best college football player in the country. I mean, you look at what he does on both sides of the ball, that guy is something else. But him being out, Chenier, sure, I can't say his first name to save my life. I
Shadir,
wait, what'd you see?
Shadir Sanders.
Shadir Sanders. Uh, I would love Oregon. Colorado to win this game, but I'm going with Oregon. I just think that it's gonna be a little bit too much for them to overcome in Colorado. Who you got, Juicy?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I was at first for Colorado at the beginning of the season, but all this media coverage and all this stuff's really like burned me out from Colorado and Deion Sanders. So I kind of like I ain't gonna lie. I started to root against them now because I'm just burnt out and sick of it. So, but even if that was the case, I still wouldn't pick Colorado to beat Oregon. I think the Ducks gonna do a lot of push-ups this Saturday.
Yep. Number 11, Utah versus number 22, UCLA. Utah got to win. I'm gonna go with the Utes. Who you got, Juicy?
I haven't been. Utah's another team I haven't really been impressed with. They just outside of that win from Florida, they haven't really looked really great. I'm gonna go with the Bruins. Give me UCLA.
All right. Number 13, Alabama versus number 15, Ole Miss. Now, Alabama, we've talked about them earlier in this show. They haven't looked really good at all this year. They've
Fell
been
down
very
another team.
I don't even know
They
what to categorize Alabama's performance so far this year. It's just been, very unsaban like. It's look I think
supposed people close to Nick Saban saying that he might actually retire after the season.
I mean Nick Saban's gave a lot to the sport, so I mean you can't really like blame the man there. He's a college football legend. He'll be remembered for decades and decades and decades. So the run that Alabama had is one of the best ever in all of sports, you could say, but I think what happened, I think NIL and the transfer portal caught up with Alabama because Alabama used to stack these 5 stars. Like I remember, like years ago, they had what was it, Alvin Kamara? They had was it Derrick Henry? And I
They
think they
had
had
some running
TJ.
backs go through there. Alvin Kamara, who ended up transferring to Tennessee, but
Yeah,
uh, like Brian Robinson, who's the running backs for the Redskins, Josh Jacobs, the Raiders running back, Derrick Henry, Tennessee. So you just named some of these running backs who in the NFL who've gone through
but like all
Alabama.
these guys would just come in and they just replace. Like Jameer Gibbs right there for the Lions. He's in there now. So I think Alabama's definitely not what they used to be. I think Lane Kiffin and them take care of business. Give me the hottie toddy, hottie toddy. Who you got,
I
Juicy?
I agree with you. I think Ole Miss is gonna pull it off against Alabama. I think Alabama's gonna continue their decline coming into the season. The biggest question mark for Alabama was the quarterback position because nobody set themselves apart from what I was hearing. Uh, went and really took when no one person took the spot. So yeah, I
They
think
still haven't got it
Alabama can.
figured out.
Huh?
They're still searching for a quarterback. They still haven't got it figured
Oh,
out.
they still haven't figured it out, and the defense doesn't look that great either. And I mean, ever since Alabama and ever since Nick Saban's lost Kirby Smart and Lane Kiffin as offensive and defensive coordinator, he's just never really quite been the same since then.
Number 14,
But I
Oregon
got,
State at number 21. Wait, what'd you see?
I said, but I got Ole Miss in this game. I think they'll take care of business.
All right, number 14, Oregon State versus they're going on the road to take on number 21, Washington State. I'm gonna let you start picking first, Juicy. Who you got?
Uh, man, this is one I go back and forth with, but I think I'm gonna take the Beavers in this one.
The last two of the Pac-12, man. I feel bad for both these programs, what they're about to go through, but I'm gonna go with the Beavers. I'll agree with you. I think Oregon State gets the job done. Number 16, Oklahoma at Cincinnati. Who you got, Juicy?
Give me the Sooners.
I'm gonna go with the Sooners myself here. Number 17, North Carolina at Pitt. Who you got, Juicy?
I'm gonna go with the I'm gonna go with the Tar Heels. They look pretty good so far, like this year. They've
Hey,
kind
it's
of
a Mac
impressed me.
Brown. Yeah, it's a Mac Brown coach team. They look pretty solid up front. With Marcus May and all getting the job done at quarterback. So I got North Carolina winning this one. Number 18, Duke at UConn. Who you got, Juicy?
Duke's look pretty good this year too. I'm really impressed with them. Give me the Blue Devils.
Yeah, I got the Blue Devils myself here as well. Number 20, Miami. The U taking going on the road to take on Temple. Who you got, Juicy?
I'm gonna go with the Hurricanes.
I'm gonna go with the U myself as well. Number 23, Tennessee versus UTSA. Who you got, Juicy?
Who we got? Tennessee versus who?
UTSA.
You know, it was a tough loss for the Volunteers in the swamp, but they haven't. But they and the record shows that they've only beaten Florida once in the swamp since 2003. So, but I expect them to bounce back against the Roadrunners after that performance last week. I think the offense will come out fire on cylinders after not really looking much in sync against Florida. So I got the Volunteers in this game.
I got the Volunteers. I mean, they had like a disappointing game here. You saw that fight toward the end of the game, Juicy?
I
They're trying to
did.
fight each other. Oh
We're
man,
throwing.
you can't make this stuff up, dude. All right, number 25, Florida versus Charlotte. Juicy, who you got in that one?
I'm surprised Florida's ranked. I didn't think they were ranked, but
They snuck in
I'm gonna
there.
take the but I'm gonna take the Gators in this.
I have Florida winning this one. I think Billy Napier and them, or they really needed something like that, right? They really needed a big win to kind of cement him and kind of get him off somewhat of the like on the radar, I guess you would say, for Florida and stuff. But I got them win. I got Florida. I'm gonna go with Florida. I think they'll continue to have success this year, maybe beat what people expect the record for Florida to be this year. And that will wrap up all the top 25 games for this week here as well. So without that here, anything else you want to say, Juice, before we go there here?
No, I think that's it. I think we're good.
All right, thank y'all for tuning into the Fishbowl Radio here. Thank y'all for tuning into the Fishbowl Radio, everybody. Thank y'all for supporting the Fishbowl here and watching all of our videos. We got them going up everywhere, and we're on Spotify. And go watch all of our episodes here. We got a lot to say and a lot of content coming your way in this college football season. I will be at Cajun Field on Saturday to watch Louisiana versus Buffalo. And I think I mean, it's gonna be a good one here. Y'all got some picks, y'all sharing with us. We appreciate it. Follow us on Facebook, X, or Twitter, whatever you want to call that social media website, Instagram, Threads, YouTube. You can even listen to the podcast if you don't have time to watch on your phone. On Spotify, we are literally everywhere to give y'all the best coverage of the Raging Cajuns and LSU and Acadiana. Thank y'all for listening to us here, and have a good night, Fishbowl Nation.
Good night, y'all.
Cut.
We're done.
Yep.
Pretty good episode.
Yeah. I
Had to be
think
kind of